Thank you, listeners, for joining us. A very important update today from our local law enforcement. We have a lot to get to. I want to welcome our guest today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out of very busy schedules. I better scoot that microphone up to you, Chief Ward. We have in studio our Elko City Police Chief, Kyle Ward, who, congratulations, Chief. I understand it is 6 months on the job for you.
6 long months, no. It's been good, though.
We appreciate you. 6 months. I thought it's been like 6 years. You've gotten a lot done. So
Yeah, definitely good partnership with the sheriff and our other partnering agencies, and really enjoying it. The time is moving fast, Lori.
All right. Thanks, Chief. We'll get an update from you and your department. Welcome, Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza. Pleasure to sit across from you.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for having us. Cowboy poetry is upon us. Huh?
Yeah, it is definitely cowboy poetry, and we were talking about the sheriff. You're always dressed for cowboy poetry.
I know it's for me it's a casual Friday every day almost, but it's nice.
Yeah, his hat fits.
Yeah,
and so do his boots. So
those are sharp, Sheriff.
Yeah. So we'll get right into it because, like I said, we haven't met for a couple months because your shows fall on holidays. So they fall on like Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll get caught up. So, Chief, we'll start with you just because you did give your annual police report, again, just for your first 6 months, but you were able to compare some stats with the City Council during the recent meeting. What stands out for you on that report? What questions did the council have for you?
Well, specifically looking at the shoplifting, the numbers that went up, so we're increasing our effectiveness there with patrols and also working with the various businesses here as well to make sure they have what they need. They are doing a great job from all of our businesses here to try to limit those opportunities for criminal activity. And then we'll be doing some other undercover operations with our crime suppression units and also some other detectives as well. So that's really helped. I think that's probably the top priority. Also, domestic violence, even though our numbers were declining, that's always a core area. So we want to make sure we have resources and try to prevent any critical incidents from happening based on domestic violence related incidents.
Seems like the incidents of domestic violence, as you said, while maybe not as frequent, it seems to be more serious, in the intent, the type of injury or arrest.
Yes, and there's a lot of resources, so that's something that we're going to continue to do, going to various businesses and also the schools as well. That's being a top priority for our detective unit and our patrol unit as well, and partnering with the sheriff's office. That's something that's a top priority to make sure we do have that awareness out there.
And then we did notice that there's been an increase in what's called luring, maybe using a computer or some technology. Can you explain what that is for us, Chief?
Yes, so we do have undercover operations, kind of like the To Catch the Predator type of events, where we do have adults trying to lure underage minors here. So we've been working on those operations. We just served a search warrant that we posted on Facebook just a few days ago. And that's something there where we're going to continue those operations with our partnering agencies to ensure that we don't have any additional victims. And we're getting that awareness out, and that's what Detective Baranka and her team within the Sheriff's Department as well, they're doing a great job there at the Child Advocacy Center to spread that message out there.
Yeah, the arrest that our police chief, Kyle Ward, is talking about happened in the area of Opal Drive. And initially, you had to call out the SWAT team to take the suspect named as Sean Herzog into custody. There was some incident, I guess, associated with that?
Yes, and what we do, we try to de-escalate every situation there by making contact with the subject or subjects that are related to that case. And they did a fantastic job. That was a partnership with the Sheriff's Office, all of our fire departments, with city and county as well. So there's a lot of moving parts for those operations, and it went well. We do have other items that we build up to before making entry into a structure. And that's what they were able to do, and they did a great job, a collective effort, and nobody got hurt. And he was successfully taken into custody for that case.
And again, just looking over some of the basics in the police department's history, the crime report, the summary for 2025, we still have an issue with drugs, Chief, and that's also indicated with an arrest this week in which officers seized 17 grams of methamphetamine.
Yes, and methamphetamine and fentanyl are our top priorities right now. We're seeing consistently, whether it's within a detention facility or within the city and county, those two are pretty prevalent, not only in our areas here, but throughout the state and throughout the country. So that'll be our focus as well, to get that off the street, and also educating other people what to look for so they don't become a victim of it and come in contact with those substances.
All right, just some of the items that stood out from the 2025 annual report or summary. Of course, 2025 saw the retirement of former Police Chief Ty Troughton, as well as Lieutenant Pepper, I believe.
Yes.
So, but you've had a lot of people step up within the department. That's allowed for some promotions. City Manager Jan Baum said recently that all the patrol positions are filled.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're in our background stages. We have 7 lateral applicants right now, candidates, and we're completing those as they are processed and going through that process right now. And our goal before we get to the summer is to staff those positions so we have more patrol and detectives and other specialized units that are able to respond to crime and just community engagement as well.
Talking with our city police chief, Kyle Ward. And we'll have other topics. We're going to talk with the chief, but we do want to switch over and make sure we give Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza some equal time here today.
I don't have the outfit like the sheriff. So
I know.
he's working on it for me.
Yeah, he means business, that's for sure. So, Sheriff, we were just discussing right before we went on the air that this is an election year for you.
Yes, it is.
So,
It is.
what have you decided?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna run, and we're not done yet. You know, we got a lot of good things going at the sheriff's office. The chief's been great. You know, we've had lunches and we've talked things out, and school stuff, contracts, and we're getting along really well. And we're moving forward, and I'm gonna keep running. And you know, Nevada's not you can run in Nevada as long as you want. So, you know, we've been pretty honest with the public, with you, and everything that we got going on, and we're gonna give it some more. So we got lots to do. We're not done yet.
Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza is now in the final, this last year of his second four-year term, so it'll be 8 years. The legislature has decided there are term limits for obviously some of the elected officials like county commissioners, city council positions, but our clerk and our DA are granted actually, I think, a little more confidence from the community. There are no term limits for those positions, and it's also important to note they are nonpartisan. So, Sheriff, you're nonpartisan.
That's correct.
Yes.
You know, yeah. There's, you know, I know sheriffs in Arizona where there are term limits. You know, and yeah, we're nonpartisan. It's not a Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. You know, you just vote for the person you think is going to do the best job for the county.
So the announcement's been made, and it's fair to say, for whatever reason, this, and it's not just Aitor Narvaiza as sheriff, but it seems that this is the position, the office that attracts so much attention every year, right, Aitor?
It does.
Or every term.
Yeah, you know, it's an elected position, you know, and I got to work hard just like everybody else. If I'm doing a poor job, I'm not going to get elected, so I work very hard with the people. I work all the events. I work lots of days. So we're very consistent, and, you know, we've eliminated a lot of the old hires like we used to. They used to just hire, but now we're going through and we got new procedures, and the people we're getting have been really solid and really great people, and they're sticking around.
Talking with Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, again announcing his bid for re-election. Filing will open on March the 2nd and continues through March 13th. And so good luck, Sheriff. We'll be talking more because you're a bona fide news story. We've been able to determine you can come on the program because you have established that precedent.
Thanks.
So,
I appreciate that, Lori.
Yes. So we'll see what the future brings, Sheriff, certainly. And we want to talk about some of the ongoing issues. You are also in charge of jail operations, and so there is a proposal, at least before county commissioners, for a final expansion of the jail, Sheriff.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about putting a whole mental facility in there. It's a lot of cost of money, I believe. Last time we had it was down like $14 million to do the expansion. But, you know, I talked at the health board meeting the other day with the doctors and medical staff here. And, you know, we're still driving to Vegas. We still have people that are in jail on misdemeanor charges and being held there 5-6 months because they're not competent to go to court. So we have to wait for them to get to a facility, Stein or Reno, and so they're sitting there for a long, long time wanting to go see a psychiatrist or see a doctor. And so it'd be better if we just did it all. We could, we've had this conversation, and we can get other counties involved. Lander, Eureka, us, Winnemucca. It'd be nice to just have our own place where you don't have to drive 16, 17 hours to Vegas and back in one day.
So this will be maybe an issue during the campaign. I'm wondering if there are other issues in the department or things that you're going to be working on, Sheriff, in the next few months.
Right now we're just going through contracts, deputies, sergeants, lieutenants contracts. Everything else is going pretty well. Just keep plugging along, that's all we can do,
So what can you tell us about the recent issue in Carlin? There was an offer by the sheriff's office to provide service. It was a money-saving move. We understood just watching the Carlin City Council meeting that they spend about $1.3 million or something on their police department currently.
Yeah, their whole city budget's like $4 million, and they came to us. Justin and I met with them. They told us they were having a hard time funding it because of they're not getting the revenue that they used to. So they asked us for a proposal, and we gave it to them. And it would be a lot cheaper than the 1.3 because you don't have to have the chief and other positions, And so it was cheaper, but they went with the Carlin, which is great. It's fine.
It seems like there was some discussion during the meeting, Sheriff, and that there wasn't a lot of confidence. I don't think we could get totally into what it is because I think there's some personnel issues, but I know that the Carlin police chief said he wasn't notified that this had happened. Do you think that that's an issue, or?
I don't know if Kevin, the chief, was notified or not. I know that we met with the city council.
So the request came from the council, not the Carlin Police Department?
No, it came from the city council. Due to their funding, it came from them. And we met with their attorney, the city attorney. We met with the county attorney, and myself and Justin, and with their city council. We gave them a proposal, and they went with their police department. So it's, that's the second time it's been brought up, and first time was a few years back when I first got elected, and it's been brought up again. So, we just support them, help them out with whatever they do. We had a deceased person the other day, and we were the first ones they called, and we helped. We went down there, took our detectives, and we did the whole thing for them. So we still have that great relationship with the chief and Carlin.
Okay. Thanks for providing us with the update. It is important to note that the Elko County Sheriff's Office does provide services, emergency services in Wells, right?
Yeah, we have our deputies. They came to us many, many years ago, and the Sheriff's Office has been there probably for the last 20-plus years when they disbanded their police department. So we're under contract with the city of Wells, and so we have guys that live there. We have guys that live in Jackpot, and they just go to work every day, and we deal with, I go down to the city council just like the chief does and talk to him, give him updates on what's going on, and so it works out really well for us.
Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, thanks for the update. Before we shift gears a little bit too, but this might be a topic that both the chief and the sheriff could comment on. Sheriff, this was really startling news. You said there was 3 suicides in one day here in the county?
Yeah, it's just last week. It's been happening more and more frequently. Our suicides did go up some from last year. So did our domestic violences go up last year, just a tad bit. I think like maybe 10, 12 more calls from last year, so it's not very, very much. It seemed like there was a trend where last year the suicides and the domestics for the last couple of years came down, and this year just shot right back up. So we had 3 suicides. We've had a lot of natural deaths. We're in Wendover right now as we speak with one with a natural cause. So our suicides have gone up in the last since the beginning of the year.
Anything that connects these or anything in particular that stands out, Sheriff?
Some are just going through divorces. Some have medical issues. They're elderly. They don't want their families to take care of them, so they take their life, and it's really sad. But they probably feel that they're a burden on their family. Somebody having to take care of them, and so it's a really bad thing. but I don't see a trend, but it's just the numbers go up and then they just come back down again. So it just depends what's going on, what they got going on in their life.
Yeah, 3 in one day though. That also has to be hard on emergency services.
It's tough on the coroners, It's 'cause that's all You think Donnie, he's a coroner. He's in Wendover now dealing with one. He had to deal with the suicides, and then we had a couple of natural deaths. And probably in the last 2 weeks, I think we probably had 10, 12 deaths. So it's just natural suicides. We haven't had no homicides, but our numbers are up just a little bit, but hopefully they'll come down a little bit.
And then connected to what the chief, in response to narcotics and interdiction, we've also had ODs, overdose.
We've had several ODs, and all deaths go through the county, and I'm telling you, most of the costs of the ODs are fentanyl related or methamphetamines or both in their system. So I just spoke to a mother yesterday. She's from Montana. Her son passed away passing through. Got some fentanyl, and she called me yesterday, and he got, it's fentanyl's all over the place, and it doesn't take very much to kill you, overdose on fentanyl. So,
That's really, really sad, Sheriff. Thanks for sharing that important news with us, though, so that we can be aware as a community. And again, it sounds as though both the Sheriff's Department and police are working hard on the interdiction issue. And before we switch back over to Chief Ward, you do have a body at the medical examiner's office in Washoe County right now?
Yes, ma'am. We're dispatched, called out to the Osino area. That individual, him and his family were out, and they came across some skeletal remains, and we went out there. We found him in a shallow grave. We believe it's probably a homicide at this time, but we'll see what's going on with that. But we recovered all the bones, no shoes, no clothing, nothing on. So you have to wait through the anthropologist has to do that, because they have to tell you if male, female, how long those bones have been underground, and they can look at that, cause of death. They'll be able to tell us all that here shortly. So we did receive an email probably 2 weeks ago from the medical examiner's office, and they were stating that they're so far behind on the autopsies that it would probably be 2 or 3 months before they got to ours. So as soon as we get information from the medical examiners, we'll send you a press release, and we'll let you know what's going on.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff. Again, no reason to believe that there's any danger to the community. It doesn't appear to be a recent burial, but we don't know.
I don't think so. I'm no bone guy, but they were just bones, and somebody a lot higher qualification than me can tell you how long those bones have been underground and stuff. So that's what we're hoping. It's just, I'm assuming it's probably going to come back as a homicide, but you never know. It could be, back a long while back. If you died, they buried you. So it could be something like that, or hopefully it's not a homicide for us.
All right. Talking with our Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, just getting some updates on some of these ongoing issues. And Chief Ward, we want to make sure that we're getting to all the topics you were hoping to today. I know you're coming up on the next Community First Tuesday, and looking forward to that presentation.
Yes, and thanks, Lori, for your contributions and support as well. So the sheriff and I and our partnering agency, State Police, has been providing a traffic safety / update for the community there as well. We'll be doing a raffle from the Commercial Fund Center. We'll be giving away, and that's a partnership with all our departments. We'll have a $100 gift card for anybody that attends. They'll get a raffle ticket, and then we'll draw one number or one ticket from there, and they'll win a $100 gift certificate / gift card. So we're just continuing. We'll start probably moving them around sometime this year from the airport, just to go to different venues, starting with State Police and then some of our businesses if they're able to support it in size. But we do want to highlight our businesses and all of the media and everyone else too, just to show that support and just keep that communication going and support our community in-house.
And I did remind a few residents, some people have had questions lately just about, with things that are happening around the country, in Minnesota in particular. I explained that First Tuesday is a good opportunity. Once you hear this presentation, I think it's on veteran services in the community.
Yes.
It's usually right at the top, takes 20 minutes or so, but then you open up the floor for questions.
Yes, any feedback, if there's any questions, concerns, ideas for moving forward this year, even safety ideas, if there's issues in your specific area or with your business, or if there's things you're seeing as far as trends that are national, like we were just talking about in Minnesota. But we're working together. We try to communicate more. We're looking at prevention type of avenues as well, so we can prevent things from happening. But if they have ongoing issues or potential issues, please bring them there. You can pull us aside as well. We'll have other deputies and officers there as well. If you don't want to speak in front of everyone, we can manage that as well, and we'll follow back up. So it's really to help out and also just get to know each other and continue building our great community, because we have a lot of great resources here and people.
And as you mentioned, the sheriff's office will be there. We have state police. There are just lots of resources concentrated in one area. And they do appreciate the feedback. I only missed one because I think it was around the holiday, or just coming back. But there's a lot of interest in the community, and having this kind of access is great, Chief. And so it'll be Tuesday, February 3rd, 5:15 at the Elko Regional Airport. And you do provide food, which is also nice. So,
Yes. So come in. If you're hungry, you'll have some food to eat, and then we'll have some great conversations and really follow up. But we appreciate the support, and we'll keep it going this year.
All right. Well, we have these two gentlemen here, our top law enforcement in Elko County, Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, who has announced his reelection bid, sitting side by side with our city police chief, Kyle Ward, who is celebrating 6 months on the job. A lot to...
I've aged too, more gray hairs. That's what
we'll let your wife decide if that's the case. So who's counting, right? So with this next few minutes that we have, I did want to address, and again, without getting into opinion or speculation about recent ICE incidents in Minnesota, it is a topic in the community, and I thought both of you will be perfect. The sheriff has addressed this before last year when this started unfolding, and he was very clear, but I thought it would be helpful if both of you could talk about process and how local law enforcement works with ICE.
Good, Chief.
Well, just starting off, just the communication, because we do work with our local, state, and federal partners as well. And it's not only ICE. We have DEA, U.S. Marshals, FBI, you name it. There's a lot of partnering agencies, and we communicate. So if there's things we meet on a regular basis, whether that's quarterly or if there's things that are coming up, we try to forecast for that specific fiscal year on certain crime trends, quality of life issues, potential problems, and ideas. And it helps us. So I've noticed within the state of Nevada, just speaking for our state here, we communicate with our partnering agencies. They have a law enforcement communications network that we all communicate through, whether it's via Teams or other avenues online and in person. So it helps us look at potential issues as they come up and ideas. So in comparison to other places, I know the communication here, I can only speak for our state, that we do have good plans in place to protect our public, no matter who you are, and also having avenues if there are issues that the public can contact us to let us know so we can address it. But for our perspective, I haven't seen any issues here. We're pretty transparent as much as we can with the media as well. Lori, your team, and every other avenue as well. If there's any issues, you can call us day and night. I think the sheriff's only had, 2 weeks off since his first term and second term, so he's a hard worker. We're there. We're accessible. Our teams are accessible, and I think that helps because the communication's there. When you have those lapses in communication, that's where it seems those issues start to arise. So they usually communicate with us. If they're looking for specific people or person in general, we would be notified, and we're going to notify you guys as we get updates. We don't want any surprises.
Well, thanks. And Chief, that he makes a good point, Sheriff, and over to you, because you do run the jail. You talked about this last year. There is a definite process in place. And over the years, Elko County has cooperated with ICE in deporting or extraditing criminals, people who are either awaiting sentencing, they have been convicted, but they are deported from the Elko County Jail. This has happened. This is a process.
That's correct. That's very true, and it's going to continue. I believe in the last few months, I believe we've had up to 5 that ICE have come picked up. We only got like 3 on holds through ICE. So once they do their jail time or whatever their...
So justice is served.
Right, whatever they do in Elko, they get arrested for whatever crime. Once their time is done, ICE will put a hold on, and what happens is, after 72 hours, if ICE doesn't come get them, we kick them loose. So once that detainer is up and they have those 72 hours, they come get them, and they're usually there within real quick because they're driving from Utah, so they're there within a day. So after 72 hours, if ICE doesn't come get them, by law, I'm going to kick them loose. I have to. I can't detain somebody who's not incarcerated anymore. But with that detainer, it does help. So it's a process. We've had him deported. We've had him come to the jail and taken them, and we're going to keep doing that. Chief and I in favor of it. There's criminals. There's drug trafficking, sex trafficking, doing drugs.
We've had at least a homicide that was
homicide,
horrible. Yes.
Sexual assault. And What do you want those people in your community, right? So we're going to work with ICE, and we're going to support them and do whatever needs to be done. But there is a process.
Yes, and we're not anticipating trouble. We're not going to sit here on this radio show and speculate. I respect the relationship that I have with these 2 top law enforcement officers, and also respecting the work that the police department, sheriff's office, state police do in the community. So we're not going to speculate, but I trust that if things do change, we'll come back and have a conversation. Sheriff?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. If there's any ICE operations, I'll let you know. I'll give you my word.
And that's another important point that we can get to in this segment. Again, taking all things national, making them local. That's really important to what we do as local media. So what would you both advise if there are perhaps demonstrators or counter-protesters? What would you want them to know about assembling locally?
People have the right to assemble. They have the right to do it peacefully. But what's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota, that's not peaceful. You can stand on the court lawn with signs like we've seen them. We've had good ones, right? We've never had anybody. People do have the right, but once you start breaking into businesses and burning businesses or burning patrol cars or causing a lot of havoc, blocking traffic, now it becomes criminal. So once it becomes criminal, then we're going to take that law and we're going to use it to our advantage, and you're probably going to go to jail. So I say if it does come up, if it doesn't concern you, you can sit and protest, but please don't let it get violent, and keep your cool and come talk to us.
I think, Chief Ward, we have the benefit of you coming from Las Vegas, where obviously there's a lot of action, a lot of time.
Yes.
Yes. And so what can you tell us about filming officers at work, for example, and that kind of protocol, what's expected? I mean, I know what's required of the media,
Yes.
and that's really important to me, but let's talk about the public.
Well, I think the main thing, and it goes back to communication too, if you are considering a protest or any other event related to a vigil or anything, reach out to us, our agency, so we're aware of it. That way we can make sure we have enough resources so it's safe not only for the public that's not attending, but also any of the demonstrators or protesters as well. And that goes a long way. I facilitated protests as far as overseeing them for the departments down there in Vegas. And it's a multi-agency, multi-department collaboration there. And I think when that communications, there's a lapse in there, that's where you start to see issues. But from our perspective, let our agencies know, so that way we can plan accordingly to make sure there's enough resources there to protect everyone, so you can peacefully assemble and communicate, because you can do that. We're here to support it. We just want to make sure it's done in the right manner.
So when does protesting interfere with police work? I mean, we haven't seen that in Elko. I have to say I've attended most of the protest or vigils, demonstrations, whatever it might be, and seen. And in fact, you don't even see law enforcement because you're keeping a respectful distance, it would seem. But when does filming officers at work, for example, or when does it cross the line?
I believe some will have criminal activity coming in where you have, I call them the professional agitators, where they'll come in and their sole purpose is to come in and to cause issues. They may not even understand what's being protested or have any part of it, but they're coming in to create disruption. So if you're doing that, we're going to address you before you can escalate any tensions there. And that's typically what we will do. You're committing a crime and you're disrupting peaceful assembly, we're going to address you.
All right. Talking with our police chief, Kyle Ward. Sheriff, you wanted to add
I
something?
was just going to say, the chief is absolutely right. It's not against the law to video police officers out in the street doing their jobs, right? And we videotape people. We have body cams, so people are entitled to videotape us as well. So it's catch-22. If you got law enforcement that's being a bad guy or an individual that's being a bad guy, unless you have some on the footage, right? And you can go from there. But it's not against the law. But you might be asked to give up that phone for evidence. So there's a possibility. If you have it on your video, you might lose your phone and go in evidence. So
I did want to obviously offer you both a chance to add anything I didn't ask about. There are probably some obvious things. But I did want to share at least part of Governor Joe Lombardo's statement on ICE in Minnesota that was just released. I'll just take a segment out that I think really illustrates the conversation we're having. Quoting Governor Lombardo, who is a former Clark County sheriff. I don't know whether you worked with...
I did. I worked for him.
Yeah.
He was our sheriff down there, did a great job.
So Governor Lombardo says, protecting citizens to assemble safely and peaceably is and must remain a top priority for officials at every level of government and for every law enforcement agency throughout the land. As Americans, there is nothing more fundamental in our republic than exercising our rights granted to us under the First Amendment without fear of retribution. He does go on to say, as a career law enforcement officer, I know better than to draw conclusions related to law enforcement action without having all the facts at my disposal. He encourages all Americans to attempt to do the same, adding that he was pleased to see President Trump's call for a thorough and unbiased review of all the evidence in the cases, and that if anyone is found to have violated the law, regardless of the circumstances surrounding the involvement, they're held to account and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He went on to say, we all share a commitment and responsibility to make America a safer place. That sounds like someone who's post-certified. Do you think, Chief?
It is, because the sheriff's been on multiple events, critical incidents as well. I've worked some with him while I was in Vegas as well, and he understands those dynamics. And he's out there in the public just like our sheriff here. And it makes a big difference because it does reduce crime. We just want to have expectations out there that are mutual expectations, and we understand how to apply things. And consistency is important too. In the communities here within the state, I see a lot of consistency as far as how we address these events that are coming up. And if you have that and everyone's on the same page, that's why I do like our community events and getting out in the public where we can share those things. And if we're missing something there, we can modify it or improve it and make it better. And that does cut down on any miscommunication that could lead to different incidents that we're seeing.
Our city police chief is Kyle Ward. And Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, reflecting on the governor's statement, it sort of reads, when you returned last year, I believe it was, when a lot of these types of things were unfolding, it seemed as though Governor Lombardo, I think he'd addressed the sheriffs and chiefs group, that what he's saying was reflected in what you came back and said, is that you are going to uphold the law, you are going to conduct the department using the process and the Constitution, that you weren't going to go kicking down doors. I think I'm quoting you. You weren't going to be kicking down doors on Last Chance Road.
We did have that conversation with the governor. He's very law enforcement since he was a sheriff for many, many years. He's about people's rights, and we had these conversations, and it's not the chief's job, and I mean, we're going to kick in doors for bad guys with warrants legally, but we're not just going to go kick in doors for people's, get them off the street, and that's not our job. But like I've told you in the past, if you do violate, you do the crime, and you are illegal, the chances you getting deported are probably going to be pretty high. So and I will work with ICE, and I have, but it's not our job to go looking for them.
So more to come on this discussion. And before we close out today's program, again, thank you both gentlemen for your time. And I want to make sure that we got to all the topics you were hoping to. Chief Ward?
That was it. Just we did our annual report, and just moving forward collectively, we want to come up with other ideas within the community, support our businesses, make it safer, keep those numbers going down in a positive manner there. We want those numbers to decline with violent crime and property crime. So that's our focus, just wellness, getting our contracts and everything moving, making sure we're supporting, because it starts with our team members here between our respective agencies. We need to make sure that we have the resources there and supporting them on the wellness side, so they're able to be the best and do the best they can out here, because they're doing a great job. But that was it. I appreciate it, Lori. And I know it's been a few months because we've all had the holidays and stuff, but thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. We look forward to your visits monthly here on Elko Live. Police Chief Kyle Ward alongside our Sheriff Aitor Narvaiza, who has announced today his bid for re-election. Yeah. It's official. Filing opens on March 2nd, and we will see what the future brings.
I hope it brings a lot. Like I said, Chief and I got a lot of good things going on. We're going to be working together for many, many years, and it's going to be solid. And, both the departments are moving forward. We're getting bigger. We're getting more bodies, and so we're doing very well together.
Was there anything I didn't ask you about that you want to make sure people are aware of, Sheriff?
No, people just have to realize that the Chief and I, we're a husband, a father. We're just like normal people, and we want things done correctly, just to help everybody out. We have those rights as well, and we have the right to protect the people, and that's why we're here.
All right. Well, we will stay ahead of these topics as best we can. As always, we appreciate if listeners have questions or concerns. I will field those to the law enforcement, or please come, even better, please come to Community First Tuesday, and that will be on Tuesday, February 3rd, Elko Regional Airport, 5 o'clock. Head straight from work, come as you are, and enjoy a sandwich and some great conversation.
It is.
Yes.
Great conversation.
Thank you both again for being
here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate you.
Appreciate your time. And thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.